Hello, welcome back to BSLIVE. In this video, I want to take a look at this artwork. Actually, a 3D sculpt by Gareth Davies, the Spodonki. He's, I think, a concept artist with a lot of really beautiful drawings and illustration of robots. But he tried to learn ZBrush, and I look at it. Okay, this monster is very simple, but I think when you're learning, for example, like 3D sculpting using Blender, and you look at the works of professional artists, and then you also look at the works of people who start learning. This one is actually much more helpful, I think. So let's say I want to do the same thing using Blender. This should be pretty simple, right? Simple character, looks like a bit of like Apple AirPods, and then it has four legs. It has this big mouth, no eyes, or maybe with eyes, with this kind of a Voronoi textures. Okay, let's jump into Blender. This is 2.81 beta, and the sculpting tool has been improved as well. It's actually a lot faster. I just deleted a box, but I will start with a box, this cube, and I will subdivide it using Control 2 or 3. Okay, do it like that, and I will right click and smooth it, hit apply. On top of this smoothing, I will also use multi-resolutions and subdivide a couple of times. With multi-resolution, I can always go up and down depending on the need. Save as, let's call it Spud Monster 001. Save. So let's jump into sculpt mode. And we can start sculpting. Where should we start? With the monster. Basically, I want to be just kind of start by maybe playing around with the Voronoi. Okay, let's create a texture, because if we start sculpting, okay, we can sculpt like that and then make the mouth, just pushing and pulling. Maybe pull the leg. We can pull the leg this like this, or actually use the move tool. It actually doesn't matter. This apparently there are a lot more brush. We have the pose, very interesting. The grab is what I want. So you can see, by of course by default we have this symmetry working. So with the grab we can have bigger brush and then kind of sculpt the mouth of our monster. It's okay. We keep the monster really simple, just four legs. And anyway, with the draw, we can, like I said, we can use texture instead of just the normal brush. So create a texture and use the procedural Voronoi. Okay, this is actually quite new. In the past, we have clouds, and inside so with the cloud, we can, of course, brush the texture like that, or we can use like the Voronoi. I think this one gives you kind of like a nicer texture, but you can see this guy doesn't have enough resolution, so I'm gonna go a little bit higher, subdivide a couple more time. Hopefully my computer can handle it. So yeah, now we can see a lot more details for our little monster. So by default we are actually using the texture, but it's kind of like, oh, it's actually tiled already. Normally it's default to viewing plane. We can also use random if you like, but I think tiled is a good one, so we can have some kind of tiling of this Voronoi texture. So this is good to make a monster, of course, the skin of the monster. And shift will always smooth it. You can see the performance is really fast, which is pretty cool, right? I'm not gonna be too crazy with the leg or anything. We just keep making things. Like I said, okay, Voronoi is new. With Voronoi, we have a couple of options. There's intensity as well. Oops. Size, okay, size. Maybe play around with the size, and then also this value. So there's first, second, third. If you got like black thing and white again inside the Voronoi, you will actually have interesting texture, like kind of like a bubble or bubble. Do you know the bubble tea? So if you have like a Voronoi texture, this one is kind of giving you that bubble inside the Voronoi. It's actually a little bit scary for some people. You see, there's like a bubble inside it that will trigger some people. Let's actually try this. So, because Voronoi, what's Gareth Davies is using here is almost like Voronoi. It's actually Voronoi, yes, but certain setting. So let's keep going. This one is almost pretty random. One thing, there are actually a lot of new tools that I haven't tried. Most of the time I just use draw, and then I use smooth, grab. Okay, there is simplify and masking. I don't use masking a lot, but it's actually very powerful. Mesh filter is new. This one, if I choose this, there's inflates, smooth, scale. I can actually apply smoothing for everything. So look at this. So I'm smoothing everything. So that's pretty cool, right? It's almost like I'm going back to zero. And there's also things like sphere. I can make this into a sphere. I'm not gonna do that. I can just keep it like this. Inflate, smooth inflates, maybe interesting. Okay, inflate. I wish there is actually options so that I can apply these textures to the whole surface of this model. We can do it using modifier displace, which is, I believe, okay, it's not supported in sculpt modes, but I can always go back to object mode. Okay, so it's applying the texture to everything, but the texture size suddenly matters. So that's applying the texture to the whole body of these creatures. And we can start to see the result. Okay, these starting to look like this guy. But this one is a bit sharper, so maybe I need to have more resolutions or something. But Voronoi texture is pretty cool. It's almost like a cell. It's actually can be pretty disgusting sometimes, that kind of look. Intensity, so there's size. So it's really, I guess this video is all about Voronoi. So we have multi-res and displace. Should I displace before multi-res? Maybe I go down. I'll go to this level and apply multi-res and then displace it anyway. So now I have a lot of resolution already. If we go to wireframe, I hit Z. Okay, that's not too bad. Not too high, so we can apply multi-resolutions and subdivide. And we can go back to sculpt and continue sculpting. Okay, wow. So I still have this inflate happening, but we can go the opposite way. So we have this kind of look, which is not too bad. So let's go back to our sculpting. This one start to feel a bit heavy. pretty high res everywhere, all over the place. So texture, let's get rid of the texture for now. We're just gonna sculpt. I'm actually doing smoothing. Yeah, the leg part. We can actually use maybe a different method to get the legs. But let's see, actually, let's make this, just follow our intuitions when doing the sculpting like this. We don't have any kind of ideas how this is gonna turn out, but basically this has to be some kind of creature that's based on the cube. And so we have the mouth. We probably need the eyeball socket, so I will push it down. With a monster, you can have 2 eyes, maybe 3 eyes, eyeball sockets. Maybe this is like a poorly done eyeball socket, but it's okay. It's not like a serious works. This is just like getting used to Blender sculpting. And yeah, we have this big mouth monster, big lips. I can actually, maybe I can pull these creatures. Or before I do that, maybe I just gonna have eyeballs. Okay, if I go back to the object mode, it's becoming this. File, append. I will be using an eyeball that's made by Janot. Okay, this is small eyeballs. I should have the eyeball here. Okay, so this eyeball is actually pretty good. Gonna switch modes to this rendering. We should see some kind of eyeballs. Okay. It's a bit slow on my Mac when I use this rendering. Okay, cool. Now I need to put the eyeballs into the socket, but we don't have enough resolutions, which is interesting. So maybe I need to go increase the preview. Okay, now we have the eye sockets. This eyeball is fully procedural, so I can easily change the color of the eyes. I pay for these eyeballs, by the way. It's currently, this is still under discount. Maybe because of the Blender conference happening a few days ago. This eyeball was on a discount, so it's good. Just gonna make the eyes looking something like this, so it's not a scary monster. Let's go back to the sculpt mode. If I'm not wrong, we can eventually sculpt while adding texture, but for now I'm just gonna keep sculpting. Okay, yeah, see, with the cavity turned on and sometimes with the shadow, wow, look at this. It's looking better, even though it's just a cavity. Hide mask and optimize display disabled. What's that mean? Sculpt, okay. Continue with this creature. Now that we have the eyeball, we sort of can relate to this monster a little bit more. See, I should actually use mask more often. Maybe I should try. So let's save this just in case. Save as new blend as well. And I will make some kind of mask so I can draw some kind of teeth. So mask, we just pick mask and then just maybe draw some kind of radius. So you can see there's this black thing. This is gonna be where the teeth of this monster is gonna be. So it's gonna look pretty scary. So okay, a bunch of dots, and then if we are painting now, the mask area won't, I think, won't be sculpted. So yeah, so this is the outer kind of painting and brushing the outer part of the teeth, and then I want to invert it. I think mask. So this is all the menu just for the mask. We can invert, fill mask, clear. In this case, just gonna invert it, and then maybe use mesh filter and then inflate. Okay, let's inflate it. So okay, so that's what we get. Probably not. It's interesting, but it's probably not the best way to do teeth. Okay, that's not bad anyway, but the mask, let's clear. Okay, so now continue with our little monster. So just gonna continue the teeth part. Eventually, if we are actually using texture and whatever, we're gonna use different material maybe for the teeth. Let's actually go back to the object mode, and then this eyeball socket. Just push the eyeballs a little bit more. We can work more on the eyeball socket itself. Generally, I am pretty happy with this monster. It looks pretty weird, but it's actually pretty fun. I've done a couple of these, and each time I did a different type of monster. Sometimes they're a little bit cuter, sometimes they looks really ugly, but still, it's each one of them is original. Oops. Okay, I'm just pushing and pulling this part. So we have like more like a proper eyelid, sort of. Pushing and pulling is the brush that you'll get used to at first. You can add more details here, like maybe I don't use the others a lot, but things like crease, maybe adding some kind of crease for a certain area. I don't use crease that much, but I believe that's important. Clay layer is the one that's kind of rough. It's adding a lot of rough thing. Whoa, that's like too much. I don't know how to use this layer properly, but it's really adding details. If you wanna make like eyebrow or like kind of okay, in this case like a nerve, like this monster is kind of angry. Maybe this is the brush for that. I was gonna add some kind of detail around. If you just do it like this, like kind of like anime, it has this weird creasing sometimes. So I still have the symmetry happening, so it's doing it on both sides. I have a feeling that I need to also draw maybe some kind of horn, and in order to do that very quickly, I will just use snake hook. Okay, snake hook. Okay, snake hook with a bigger radius. Yeah, I think it's kind of cute. This monster can also have ear. Maybe not gonna do that. This is just like for this area. Well, I shouldn't smooth it. Maybe it's like a hedgehog. But I think this a lot of these tools are really versatile. I haven't used all of them. Maybe I should try a couple more. Pinch, okay, pinching the area. Scrap, fill, flatten. Okay, we're gonna flatten the mouth. Where else? Flatten this area. Just the stomach. Okay, I think we are okay with this. I'm okay. I can continue with this for hours, but let's jump into cycles render and go to object mode, and this character needs some kind of material. We can use the Voronoi for our material. It looks a bit like baby Godzilla. Voronoi texture. Okay, well, I shouldn't actually do that. Maybe remove. Just give it a simple material like green, and then some kind of subsurface, and then give light, sunlight. Okay, so that's our little monster. Subsurface color maybe purple, green and purple. Now it looks pink now. Okay. Yeah, I think if I'm gonna continue with this, I'm gonna switch to texture paint and start to paint some areas, and that's can be a good looking monster. But anyway, that's really based on this monster by Gareth Davies. Of course, it's just learning. I have a bunch of this monster already. This is one, right? I have another one, which is this guy, using Voronoi texture also, which is interesting still. 3 eyes monster. But yeah, so I challenge you, or maybe if you have time, do this a couple of this kind of monster. Just simple monster, 4 legs, but with a lot of details. Get used to the brush tool. Oh, look at this pink monster. I also have a couple more, but anyway, you get the idea. So play around with this idea. Just make monster with eyeballs, with teeth, and get used to the sculpting tools in Blender. 2.81 beta is not for productions, but I think it's actually good enough if you're just doing this kind of sculpting practice. And the sculpt tool, there are so many that you can play around with, and including the things like pose. Where is it? There's this pose one. I haven't really used it, but anyway, yeah, this simple monster, and then you can export it out, you can print it out. It's really fun to do in Blender time to time. Very, very meditative. If you ever get lost, play music, start sculpting, make some kind of monster, simple monster, and then yeah, you got something. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.